Should we start, though, perhaps, because maybe you've been at work all day, maybe you've been sleeping, or maybe you've had better things to do than watch Jeremy Hunt do his budget. But worry not, because I shall bring you up to speed with some of the key measures that we're experiencing. And I've got to say, so many of these measures, they've been leaked, haven't they, beforehand? Why do they do that?
This is now a kind of political event, not an economic event, Michelle. It's all about, trying to get newspaper coverage. In fact, that's the plan of the government more than it is to really change our tax system or our spending particularly. So, of course, it's all leaked. There was virtually no surprise in the budget at all. If you'd been following GB News or reading the papers over recent days, there would be not a single surprise, I think.
I'll tell you what was quite surprising. I don't know if you managed to see it. Jeremy Hunt essentially getting locked out. Did you see that? I can play you a clip if you missed it. I thought it was a bit embarrassing, quite frankly. He's standing there nice and proud with his little briefcase. He turns to the door, and I don't mean to be rude to whoever the fella is on the door, but you've got one job, my friend. You literally have one job in life. When Jeremy Hunt turns back to the door, guess what you do? You open it, but not on this occasion. I'm playing it back for you a minute because I do find it quite so hilarious. You can see he stood there, and then he had to knock. He had to knock on the door. I mean, I bet someone got in trouble for that, I can tell you. Anyway, look, apparently lower taxes mean higher growth. That was one of the things that Jeremy Hunt was trying to point out today. But in terms of some of these key metrics then, we knew, didn't we, national insurance. There was lots of conversations about whether or not that was going to be the 2 pence cut or not. Well, we now know, yes, that's going to happen. There was lots of rumours about whether or not income tax was going to be cut. I hate to break it to you all, but no, that didn't get cut at all. Capital gains, will come on to this. I can tell you there'll be a lot of people upset about this one, because conversations we've had, people are saying, actually, we want capital gains to be brought more in line with income. I can tell you now, right, this was a bit of a rabbit out the hat. It went completely the opposite way. They reduced the capital gains that people have to pay. Really good news. I've got to say, you've got to get your priorities in life right, haven't you? The alcohol duty, that was frozen. Are we happy about that today, everybody? Did you notice that I didn't ask Whitehaven if it was happy about that? I knew what was coming. I knew what was coming. Child benefits there, the threshold raised from 50 to 60k. The non-dom, we're going to come on to this one. I found it fascinating. That status was essentially scrapped. Windfall tax on the oil and gas companies, that was extended. Nothing for banks, though. I found that interesting. Let me start with my panel then. Can I have a brief show of hands, please? Who in this room was happy by what they saw contained in the budget today? Show of hands. I don't believe that. Right, if you're listening on the radio, you don't know what on earth's going on, right? There's not a single solitary hand up in the air. Now, either, this is a few things, either it's because people are shy. People might think, oh, I don't know if I've got sweaty armpits, I better not put my arm up. Or it could actually be that genuinely nobody at all is happy. So I'm going to try one more time. Honestly, is a single solitary person in this room happy? Yes, I found one. Yay, there. Can I get a microphone? He's going to regret putting his hand up now. Up you stand, sir. Hello, what's your name?
Andrew.
Andrew, hello. Why are you happy about the budget today?
I'm happy with elements of it. Given my earnings for the household, the threshold being moved up to 60,000 for child benefits is going to be beneficial for my household. But I can't help but think this is a bit of a rearguard action by the Tories today.
Right. See, it's not that scary getting up, is it? Thank you very much, Andy. You've got the ball rolling. Anyone else that's happy today? Anyone? Last chance? I told you, don't wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning thinking, why didn't I tell her I was happy about the budget? I've missed my moment to shine. Right, well, let's move on then. Apparently, everyone at home, most people are not happy, which means you must all be unhappy then. So show of hands that are unhappy, please. Right then, who should we pick? They're a handsome bunch. Right, let's have a look. Let's get on the front. Who's happy and wants to tell me why they're happy? Unhappy. I'm getting a bit too excited. What can I say? We've only just begun. Hang on one sec. There's a chap there. This row. Can we stand up, get a microphone to him? Right. What's your name, Sam? Why are you happy?
My name's Colin.
Unhappy. You see, I'm just so positive. I'm so positive. I'm trying. Why are you unhappy?
Because as a self-employed businessman,
yeah,
farmer, fuel's gone up 3 pence a litre. Diesel's gone up 3 pence a litre in the last few days. Cancels out everything that goes on in the budget.
You see, and as a
Such
farmer...
small figures, it has no effect.
And as a farmer, because farmers are really unhappy at the moment, we're seeing protests, not just in this country, by the way, all across a variety of countries at the moment. Do you feel...
Media either.
Yeah.
News is about the only one that's showing it.
Well, up
Big
GB News,
protest
you see.
tomorrow in Preston,
Why?
Lancashire.
Why do you think farmers are being failed? Do you think we value you?
We're totally undervalued, but it's the bigger picture. Why is it farmers throughout the world are getting involved in this? We spend our entire life looking to the future. Everything I do has a 5-year effect on my business. Government has fetched out a heap of schemes in this country that just echo what the World Economic Forum want to have.
Right.
They want to cut down food production.
Thank you for that. See, very, very important topics, and I'm proud, actually, that we do indeed cover them on this channel. Anyone else that's unhappy, I'll remember where I am now, unhappy. Everyone in this room told me that you was pretty much, so stop being shy, stop being shy. Oh, yes, there we go, young man. Can we get a microphone to him? What's your name? And tell me why you're unhappy tonight. See, I finally cottoned on now. We're talking unhappy. I was trying to keep it positive. It's not going to work, is it?
Hello, my name's Paul. Obviously,
Hello, Paul.
I'm a local
Stand
lad,
up,
as you
please, so
can tell.
everyone can appreciate your beauty. Come on, up.
Yeah, my name's Paul.
Yeah.
I live in Workington.
Yeah.
I'm not happy. It's a very minute increase that I'm going to get back from the national insurance. Already the road tax has gone up. The council tax is going to go up. There'll be something else stealth under the radar that's going to go up. It's not a sexy budget, is it?
It is not a sexy budget. I think that is a very apt summary there. Thank you very much for that. We'll take the microphone. It's not a sexy budget. Has there ever been such a thing? Has there ever been such a thing as a sexy budget that people have loved, Mark?
Yeah, there have been sexy budgets. You probably need to go back to the 80s there to find really sexy budgets.
I'm too young, but tell us about it.
I mean, when Nigel Lawson radically reduced taxation across the board, that was pretty sexy. And going back to your first point, Michelle, it was a surprise. It was held back. You couldn't watch Parliament on television on those days because cameras weren't allowed, but it was a genuine surprise. And I do think these things should be announced on the floor of the House of Commons, not slipped to a friendly journalist on a Sunday newspaper beforehand. But I agree with Paul, was it? This was pretty unsexy overall. This was pretty plain, and some of it was a little bit ugly, actually.
Oh, a bit ugly. Well, we'll come back to the ugliness. There was I trying to make it all positive. It's just not going to happen. I need to accept that. Where are you on this? I mean, we'll leave the sexiness for a moment. But in terms of the overall positioning of the budget, did it make you happy today or unhappy?
Well, if you're earning between £26,000 and £60,000 a year, you're net up, because, of course, thresholds have changed, but national insurance has gone down now 4%. The child benefit change is welcome. But if your mortgage is £400 or £500 more than it was last year, this gentleman over there mentioned council tax, cost of living, food inflation, it doesn't touch the surface. So even if they went 2-3 times more in the direction that you're talking about in terms of tax cuts to give more people more cash in their pocket, which of course necessitates more public spending cuts, but park that for a moment, even if you did that, you're still not really giving people back the cash they've lost over the last 18 months, 2 years. We're all feeling considerably poorer, and this wasn't really going to do much about that.
Well, I want to bring you guys in at home. Vincent said, you don't mince your words, my friend, you say it was the most useless budget in decades. Marty says it was absolutely useless for pensioners. Surely, he says, we are their core voters, but what about us? Graham says he couldn't have hammered the nail into the Tory coffin any better. That's quite harsh, isn't it? Andrew said, why would any of this win anybody's votes? He basically has taken back from us what he gave to us a few months ago. John says, this is simple, Michelle. Cut the overseas aid budget and reduce tax for UK taxpayers. Would that measure get support? That is a comment that we hear often. What do you think of that? Many people will say, why are we spending so much money on overseas, whether it's this kind of bottomless pit when it comes to funding the Ukraine war, whether it's foreign aid here, there and everywhere? Spend more at home. Do you agree with that sentiment?
It's a fair sentiment, and I understand particularly on overseas aid, it's not just a question of spending more at home, it's that vast amounts of that budget are wholly wasted anyway, so it's not, I think, having a particularly good effect abroad. But
Wasted how?
well, it goes on projects that are not really improving the lives or the education or the sanitation in various areas. A lot of it is hoovered up by corrupt regimes. I'm not sure it's a particular force for good. But I'm going to level with you and the audience here, Michelle. If you really want to get taxes down, and I do, you're going to have to make some big decisions on spending. And overseas aid is a reasonable amount of money, but it's nothing compared to, say, the British welfare budget. It's an absolute rounding error. And if you really want to see taxes come down, to help some of the audience members you've heard from here, we're going to have to take some pretty difficult decisions on spending. And I've got to say, this Conservative government has not been willing to take any difficult decisions on spending. Everything seems to be a priority for spending. And if everything's a priority, nothing's a priority. And if we can get spending down, then we can get taxes down, and then some of the cost of living pinches that Aaron's been talking about at least become a bit easier. Because as it stands at the moment, the average household's going to be poorer at the next general election than they were at the previous general election.
Do you feel that in this room?
Shocking.
Do you feel poorer than what you once did? Don't worry, I'm not going to get you to put your hands up and go on telly and tell me what you wear, and don't worry, your secrets are safe. But just as a general kind of feeling, do you feel less well off, poorer, in fact, to put it once a better word?
Who doesn't?
Is there well, he says who doesn't.
Who doesn't?
Well, I don't know. Is there anyone in this room that doesn't feel less well off? Anyone that's minted and single and wants to make themselves known to me?
Yeah, a good divorce settlement.
Anyone? But no, serious question. Is there anyone that doesn't feel worse off?
There's one person at the back there.
Where? Who? Oh, yes, I found someone. Can you tell me why? Do you mind? Up we get. Here we go. I found the guy that's minted in the room. Go on, tell us. Hello, what's your name?
I work now, and I didn't before.
Yeah.
You see, I like this. Talk to me. So tell me your story briefly.
Well, I was 14 at the last general election.
Oh, right, there you go. He was 14. He was 14, now he's not, and now he's in work. And actually, I think that is a really key point, because so many people now are struggling to get on in the world of work. So it's brilliant. So just tell me briefly, what work do you do?
So I'm a sixth form at the moment, but on the weekends I work at a software area.
Into the microphone, we want to hear your story.
Sorry. I'm a sixth form at the moment, but I work at a software on the weekends. So
right.
That's...
See, can I just say, what a positive story, right? Because we hear all the time, don't we, about the younger generation, they're always off, they don't want to work or whatever. There you go. Found him. Excellent. I appreciate your story.